hello. This is your girl, Tori, and I got my sister, Sonyetta, with me today. It's a beautiful Tuesday, and today is World AIDS Day as well as Giving Tuesday. So we want to touch base on that. Plus, let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. This is unscripted. So wherever the Lord leads, that's where we going. We're going to follow wherever he leads. Let me tell you, Sonyetta, my sister Sonyetta just blessed my whole soul, gave me a sermon before we went live. So I told her, I said, you got to save some of that for the people, because just like it blessed me, I know it's going to bless somebody else. So the first thing I want to touch base on, of course, World AIDS Day is it means a lot to me. As a matter of fact, that's how I met Sonyetta, because back in the day, she was working for Hope Health, and that's how we met. I met Sonyetta back, but y'all see Sonyetta got them dreads hanging past her butt. Man, I met Sonyetta when they was just teenagers. So we've been rolling for a long time. She met me I've been doing this radio thing for 20 years, and she's been with me from the beginning when it all started. Like when I was scared to open my mouth, when I was scared to even speak, she was right there with me. And I appreciate you. I love you so much. And I appreciate you for taking time out of your busy schedule, because you're doing so much. And I got to salute you for everything that you're doing in the community. You do so much. We love you so much.
Listen,
how are you today?
I am blessed. That is the best way to put it, because I love to tell people I won't complain. And then, my main thing is because nobody don't want to hear it anyway.
Right.
So I am blessed. I'm blessed to be alive. I'm blessed to be able to have friends like you. I'm blessed to be able to know how to be a friend. I'm just blessed to be able to say that I'm a mother and a grandmother. These are the things that make me excited. All that other stuff is just fluff. But to be alive, to say that I'm a child of God, to say that I am nowhere near I was when you met me many years ago, all I can do is say that I'm truly blessed. I got a testimony.
We all got a testimony. We do not look like what we've been through.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'll tell you, to say that what today is and what it signifies, that says a lot in itself.
It does. It does. And I told you I was going to tell you something that I want to tell you live, where you find out when everybody else does. Okay, your day is World AIDS Day. And like I said, honestly, I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't even know if I ever told you this before, but I did not realize until I start interviewing you back in my Cumulus radio days. I did not realize back then, until you and I connected and you was working for Hope Health at the time, the importance of getting tested. Because a lot of times I will admit that I was ignorant, because I would think, okay, they look okay. They look like nothing's wrong. They look like they're healthy. I feel okay. I feel fine. So you're the one that really prompted me, to get tested, Tori. Just because they look like they're okay, or you feel okay, or you don't think anything's wrong, get tested. So because of you, hats off to you. You're the reason why I get tested regularly. And as a matter of fact, like I said, I want to tell you when everybody else. Today is World AIDS Day. So guess what Tori did? Of course, if I'm going to tell people to get tested, guess what Tori did today? Tori went today and got tested.
Yeah.
Tori got tested today.
and I applaud you, sis, for taking the initiative and taking the necessary steps to care enough about yourself to know. Here's the thing. When I started working at Hope Health in 1999, I was a single mom that was just now getting my life together because of people that God placed in my path along the way. So I had already completed programs to be on the, to get off of welfare and assistance. Graduated from being the first person to graduate from the welfare to work program in Florence. Got a plaque, got a job at DSS. So now instead of me going in to get Medicaid, I was helping young ladies sign up for Medicaid when I got a job in the Medicaid department. I was that young lady that could sit across the desk and understand when those young women came in. Instead of me looking down on them, I could look up to them and tell them, guess what, sis? You don't have to stay where you're at. And listen, I still wasn't anywhere near where God was trying to take me. He was just strategically placing me in different places and positions to get me ready for such a time as this. So to leave a job as a single woman, getting off of welfare, and then an opportunity came open at a HIV clinic in 99, which was the end of the 90s, which was when nobody was talking about HIV AIDS. Nobody didn't want to hear nothing about it. All people were still thinking that it was a gay white man's disease. But little did we know that it was creeping into our community, attacking our people. And it was young women at the top of the totem pole when I was interviewed for that position. Now, on paper, I wasn't qualified. So we talked before we got on this live. When God opens doors for you, no man can't close them. So when I interviewed, I was interviewing with people who saw more in me than I saw in myself, because I felt intimidated because I didn't have a degree to be the office manager for a doctor's office. Not to mention it was an HIV clinic. It was a doctor's office. But I was chosen by God through these people to be the office manager. And you say you getting tested. You know, the first thing I did when I went in there, looked at the client list to make sure wasn't none of my ex-boyfriend's names was on there. But let's keep it real. I had 3 children, and they daddies was not the same daddy. So that meant that I was out there doing what everybody else was doing. And so here I was. When I got the job, I knew nothing about HIV or AIDS. So my first step was to look at that list to make sure there wasn't no names on that I was familiar with. And then I prayed and got my first test because I had to be sure. So starting out as the office manager, and then that's when all this funding came for prevention and education. So here I was saying, I need to know more about this. If every time I turn around, there's another young Black person coming through the door with a new diagnosis of HIV from the health department or from a doctor's office. We were getting young women that were in their 20s or 18, 19 years old coming in who were finding out they were pregnant and HIV positive at the same time. Because we were so busy worrying about, I don't want to get pregnant. I don't want to get pregnant. Nobody wasn't talking about catching HIV. You know, we heard about the other diseases. So the more that I could find out, the more I wanted to learn and the more I wanted to educate. People stop inviting me to dinner because we'd be sitting around eating. I'd be like, y'all got an HIV test? They didn't want to be around because I wanted to know. And just because it was important to me didn't mean it was important to everybody else, but it was what anything that where God places me, it becomes my mission, and I have to be passionate about it so that I can educate. Everybody is not going to receive the message. And that's even now. HIV ain't went nowhere. All you hear about right now is COVID. People not even talking about heart attacks. People not even talking about the flu right now. All they're talking about is COVID, which leaves all these other things to continue to sneak and attack from every different area. But like you said, you took the time out today to go get tested. And I ask and I tell, I plea bargain with married people, dating people, single people. If you have not gotten a test in the past year, you need to go get tested, because you cannot say what another person won't do. And it's important to know. It's important to know. And being in that office, my job changed from the office manager to the community outreach resource person. So I started learning more about it. And then I started doing stuff in the community to educate about it. And then the things that I heard of why people didn't get tested, or when I heard the people that were positive, that were angry, would come in and say, somebody gave it to me and I'm going to give it to somebody else. But we were bound by confidentiality. I couldn't go call Pookie and Ray Ray and them and say, your girlfriend up in here with some stuff. I couldn't open my mouth. I was bound by confidentiality. All I could do is try to educate a young woman or a young man that was so angry that they said to themselves, guess what? I know I got it, and I'm going to still go out there and sleep with people. That hadn't changed. That has not changed.
And that's the scary thing. You don't know.
You don't know.
Ooh.
You can't look at somebody and tell. Just like you can't look at somebody and tell if they have COVID. You can't look at somebody and tell they have HIV. World AIDS Day comes around every year, the same day every year, December the 1st. Hope Health used to be called Hope for the PD. That's why a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't know that there was an HIV clinic here in this area. And so it started out as a support group of families that were HIV positive and grew into
Mm-hmm.
an organization. And that organization became a group of people who cared about our community. And we did a lot of great works before Hope for the PD became who they are. We were a staff of about 8 people. Now look at where Hope for the PD is now.
Yes, yes. And like I said, I got tested today. And the thing about me, I'm not even in a relationship. I'm not even dating right now. Right now, I'm just a woman in waiting. You know, I'm waiting for my God ordained husband. But even though that is the case, knowing is beautiful. I am a OC. I have OCD bad, and I don't like germs. But the one I remember one time, sis, there was one time I had it so bad. Not that, you know, like I said, I'm not even in a relationship, but I had it so bad. You know, you can get tested every 3 months. And the lady was like, now, didn't I just see you? She said, you're not participating in risky behavior. I said, no, ma'am, I just like to know. She said, baby, if you ain't doing that, we ain't got to see you every 3 months.
Right, right. And just
But
imagine,
I just like to know.
yeah. Imagine if everybody felt like that, though.
Yeah.
Imagine if you meet somebody and you start liking each other, and
Mm-hmm.
before you even decide to give somebody a kiss, and they want to go, no, where you want to go on our date? Let's go to the health department and get a test.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that we go have sex, but that's a perfect way to start a relationship out.
Right,
How many
right.
married couples? How many? Seriously, people that start dating, people start having sex before that conversation comes up. But a part of counseling, what do pastors say? A part of your marriage counseling is y'all go get an HIV test together.
Yeah. It's
I
so
mean,
important.
yeah, let's talk about how that would affect that shows where your mindset is, because some people would rather not know. And how it sounds crazy, but that's why a lot of people don't go to the doctor. That's why we keep drinking ginger ales and putting Epsom salt in our bath water, and getting the baking powder and putting water in it and getting vinegar. Oh, grandma said this will heal it. What?
Mm-hmm.
No. Preventive
Mm-hmm.
care, knowing is the best thing. And that message has not changed over the course of the years. When this disease first came on the scene, it was attacking gay white men. That's who was more prevalent up in California, in areas that weren't even down south. But just like everything else, once it hits that I-95 corridor and start traveling, it goes straight through the south down to Florida. And if you look at the numbers today, that's where most of the numbers are. And why is that? It's because of the practices of the people here in the South. It's because of the mindset. It's because of the lack of education on so many different levels. It's because of so many different things that, hear me as a minister, I'm going to say it, the churches don't want to talk about. Just imagine if we continue to preach, we could talk about Moses, we could talk about David, we could talk about Simon, we could talk about Peter, we could talk about all of that. Let's talk about what's keeping our people bound. My people perish for a lack of knowledge, and that's not just knowledge of the Bible.
Right. That's the thing. Some churches do not want to talk about it. I appreciate the churches that I'm connected to. They keep us educated.
Right.
They keep us educated. I'm blessed to be in the number with the people that I know. You guys do y'all thing, and I really appreciate that. And of course, like I said, I got tested today, even though I'm not in a relationship, but I'm happy to say Tori is HIV negative, and I also got tested for hepatitis. negative, because and the thing is, when I do start to date again, I know that it may be strange, but I want to ask you, have you been tested? And if you don't want to take a test,
Listen.
I'm look at you with the side eye, right?
Listen.
My blood clean, I want to stay clean.
You better just imagine if you want to talk about my credit report.
Right.
You want to know about, who I used to talk to before you met me.
Right.
You want to talk about all these things, and let's talk about real stuff. Let's talk about how many, even if you don't tell me how many sexual partners you've had, let's talk about, are you willing to go with me to get a series of tests? Because here's the thing.
Right.
It's not just HIV, it's HIV and other STDs.
Right.
And other sexually transmitted infections, STIs.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is, the other, because we talk to our girls about, you better not go out there and get pregnant. Don't you open your legs up and get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Barbara just said the same thing. We talk to our kids. We need to talk to our children. These discussions need to be had in the house, because if we're educating in the house, then when they go out, they can help educate their peers. If we're teaching our kids more so than about having a baby, to let them know you can pick up something that you're going to have for the rest of your life. So that means that when you want a future with someone else, this is something that you're going to have to potentially share with someone and say, I like you. I really want to be in a relationship with you, but there's something that I need to tell you. And there's a lot of people that's not having that conversation.
Right. And you said something, it's very important, not only to get tested for HIV, but you got to have those annual tests for everything. Because that's another thing I do, go to have those annual PAPs. And when I have my annual PAP, we're talking, being transparent, when they have that annual PAPs, get tested for other things as well, because HIV isn't the only thing that's out there. And there's some, and see, with women, there are a lot of STIs, STDs that lie dormant that people don't even talk about. There's some stuff that's coming up now, just we never heard of. I'm like, where's the stuff coming from?
Well, we know what times we're in right now.
Right, we are.
And because of people not doing the right thing, and that's the bottom line. We don't even have to be spiritual about it. It's from people not doing the right thing, and it's not the church folk or the sinners. It's people as a whole. It's not about this person, this race, or that one. People as a whole. There may be more people of a different group or genre of people that are most affected right now, but as a whole. So that means taking personal responsibility. That means that because I am a mother of 3, and even being a mother of 3, when I was out educating my community about HIV, about STDs, about teen pregnancy, about the syphilis elimination, I was working. I haven't always just now become a busy person. The Lord kept my hands in so many different things throughout the course of my life, because there's so much that our people needs. And so those of us who are at the forefront, those of us that are on the front line, we've got to have all of the arsenals. We've got to have all of the tools. We've got to have all of our weapons so that we can fight whatever it is that comes up. So it's not just about me, and it's not just about me and my 3. It's about me and everybody that's connected to me. So any young person that came to my house that was around my kids, they heard the same message. While I was out in the communities educating about STDs, they would go out and tell their friends, man, I've been to Miss Cooper house, and she got pictures of syphilis in the eye. She got pictures of gonorrhea. She's got pictures of chlamydia. I had the pictures. I had it so that they could see. No, I need to give you a visual. That if you think going out there being loosey-goosey, the boys and the girls, no, I wasn't just pointing to the girls. I was telling the boys too. Just because you use a condom, that doesn't mean that you're going to be exempt, because there are other body parts that are still exposed when you're having sex. Let's talk about being real. So I'm that person, and I'm still that person that's going to talk about what other people don't want to talk about. It is what it is. If I can save your child's life, send them to me. I'll talk to them.
And then let's talk about this too. When you talk about STDs, let's don't forget about spiritually, because you and I both, the anointing is on your life. Let's talk about them sexually transmitted demons. Let's talk about it.
Those STDs. I didn't know if we were going to talk about that in the second segment, but that's the other side of the STDs. Because now, if you want to take it to the spiritual side of it, every person that you connect with in that way, you put yourself, we've put ourselves, because we can't point our fingers without pointing the finger back at ourselves, because it's only because of grace and mercy that my name wasn't on that client list. So, we can't get it twisted. Just because God spared us, we can't sit back and think that we are the elite. No, because he spared us, we have to tell our stories. We have to remind ourselves and the people around us that we fall down, but we get up. But when God allows us to get up, that we better get up thanking him.
Right.
And then we better get up and tell our story. When God healed the blind man, he told the blind man, go tell. The man was telling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when he healed the leper, he needed to go tell it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Jesus was healing, we need to tell it, and that's what's not happening. We're not telling our stories. That's why we're still bound. That's why we're so caught up. That's why we can't stay in a relationship, because you're still carrying around them demons that somebody has given you because you connected to them sexually. Right. The mental and the physical will have you jacked up in the future. So let us get delivered, because we come to church and they teach us about being saved. I learn about the A, accept the Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior. Hallelujah. Believe. I believe that he died for my sins. Confess. Now that I believe that he died, I'm confessing my sins. Lord, I ask you for for you to please forgive me. But what about the D? We've heard none about the ABCs. What about the D? Lord, deliver me. Deliver me from every manner of evil. Deliver me from the sins of my past, Lord God. Deliver me from generational curses that was passed down throughout the lineage of my last name that I didn't even know was connected to me. Lord, deliver me from a certain type of thinking. Deliver me from the hurt and the pain that someone put on me, and deliver me from the hurt and pain that I gave to somebody else. And then, Lord, when you deliver me, use me, God, as you see fit. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to truly maneuver through this life, is when we get rid of the stuff. You gotta admit, you gotta own up to your stuff, and you gotta say, this is my stuff. I can't blame anybody else for my stuff. This is my stuff. Let me deal with my stuff, and Lord, help me to get to the next level. But don't let me go by myself. Show me who I'm supposed to be pulling with me, and show me who I'm supposed to be getting rid of along the way.
See, you about to make me about to make me run through the house.
Don't Lord, see, don't leave me out here by myself.
Lord, let me tell you something. The anointing, sis, the anointing that's on your life. Let me tell you something. I got the Lord, I want to run right now. You just don't understand. That was good to me. That was good to me. But it's so important, you guys, for you to get tested. Like I said, like sis was saying, not just for HIV and AIDS, but get tested for everything. Get those annual pap tests, get those mammograms. I done did it all this year. And like I said, the day was World AIDS Day. So what a perfect way to get tested, because like I was telling sis prior to us going live, I'm like, how can I be telling someone to get tested when how can I advocate if I'm not doing it? So right. I purposely waited till today to get tested. And like I said, I'm not currently in a relationship, but honestly, I get tested every 3 months for some reason. You remember back in the day when AIDS and HIV first came out, and we didn't have the knowledge and we didn't have the technology that we do now. For some reason, you remember back in the day when we didn't know, they said that it could stay in your body for 10 years. And for some reason, I have that in my head. So even though I'm not in a relationship now, I still get tested every 3 months, like clockwork. And like I was telling you, one of the representatives, like, you don't have to, I'm like, I just like knowing, because knowing is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And see, that's that lack of knowledge. It wasn't that it could be in your body for 10 years and you keep getting tested and it shows up. You could have it for 10 years without it, affecting you. So a person can live with it for up to 10 years. That's what we knew back then. But with clinical trials and with things and learning more about this disease and the progression of it and how it can mutate, how a person can have HIV, a strand of HIV, and take a certain type of medicine. And then they have sex with another person that's HIV positive, and then can cause what is called a super strand of the virus. So the medicines that they used to take will no longer work anymore, because now that strand of the virus mutates into a new strand of the virus. So just imagine, over all of the years, there are still things out there that have not even been discovered. Like with this COVID didn't just come around. COVID has always been around. It's just resurfaced itself.
Mm-hmm.
So the educating piece of it is to know that there are things that could still be lying in our bodies dormant. That's like syphilis. Mm-hmm. Syphilis can go dormant in your body and you won't even know until you have an outbreak. And right. Then it's, oh, you got a fever blister. Oh, you got syphilis. It is a form. I'm sorry, that's herpes. The herpes is a form of a fever blister. It's not the same, because a baby can get a fever blister, or a child, and they still call it a form like herpes simplex 1, 2, or 3. But just imagine, when syphilis lies dormant in your body for years and years and years, you could eventually go blind from syphilis.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't ever get it treated.
Right.
But you're still passing it on to someone else if you don't know. And you're not having protected sex.
Right. Now, let me ask you this before we move on to Giving Tuesday. What advice, because of course, the young people gravitate to you, because even my son, like, you taught the Auntie Sonyetta, you taught that the young people love you. So what do you say to not only the young people that's out there, but even some adults that's still out here living recklessly? What advice would you give to them to tell them how important this is? Not just, it amazes me that some people will still live life recklessly, like there's nothing out there, like they're invincible. Like I think Barbara said earlier, like they're invincible, like it can't happen to me. How would you encourage them to get tested and make sure they take care of themselves? Of course, you can't make people, you can lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink.
Well, my first question, even now, with people that I talk to, on a regular, whether it's through my coaching or whether it's through ministry, because being a youth minister, I love talking to my young people. And one of the questions that I ask when I'm in the presence of someone, sometimes you could just feel a person. If you have a strong spirit of discernment, you can feel when that person is going through something. They can pretend as much as possible. The same thing with you. When somebody knows you, they know when you're going through. So I'm not exempt. The people who know me, they know when I'm going through something. So my first question is, what's going on? If I know they're living recklessly, like running a homeless shelter, perfect example. I had young women coming through that door and young men coming through that door that gravitated towards me and started calling me mama, because I was asking the questions that nobody took the time to ask. Who hurt you? Mm-hmm. What happened in your life that will cause you to feel like it's okay to hurt yourself? Because when we give of ourselves so freely to people, and that means giving up our bodies, giving up our time, giving up our feelings, allowing what somebody else says or feels dictate what moves that we're going to make, I'm asking them, do you love yourself enough to take control of your life? When I would mentor the young women and we were talking about prevention of catching HIV, because you got to talk about if you don't have it, then you need to prevent yourself from getting it. So therefore, if you find out that you're negative, you can't keep going out there and having unprotected sex, because each time you do, you're putting yourself at risk. So I would talk to young women who would tell me that they have multiple partners. I couldn't judge them because I was in their community and they needed somebody to be there to hear what they were going through without looking at them, say, you sleeping with 4 different men? Girl, stop. Girl, listen. You got 4 different men that you might have sex with within a course of a 3-month period. One your baby daddy, one your other baby daddy. The other one is the older guy who helped pay your bills. And the other guy is the one who bring you money whenever you need it. So y'all might just slip it. That's your homeboy that y'all might just slip up. Can I get you to use condoms with at least 3 of them? Not 3. Both of your baby daddies going to want you not to use. How about 2 of them? That cuts down your chances halfway for you contracting it. But before she does take prevention methods, she's got to say to herself, I matter enough not to get sick, not to catch a disease. So I'm going to make a choice and a decision that I don't care what they think, what I think, and what I need. I'm going to have to put that to the forefront. So when I'm talking to people and I'm trying to figure out how can we change these behaviors, how do you feel about yourself? Because when you love yourself enough and you realize you're important enough, when you know that God loves you and it does not matter what anybody thinks about you, it does not matter what they said or what they told you or who they said that you were going to be. It don't even matter what they're calling you right now. What does God call you? And when you start seeing yourself the way God sees you, then you're going to start loving yourself enough to take the time to do the things that you need to do to stay here, because we all have a purpose. And if I cut my days short because I keep putting myself in the line of fire, because I keep playing Russian roulette.
Oh, Lord, you froze up. Oh, goodness. Hang on, y'all. Look at the devil. I swear, the devil busy. Let's see. Y'all, this live. Hold on. Hang on, y'all. Give me a second. We're going to try to get Sonyetta back. Look at the devil. The devil big mad.
Ain't nobody mad but that cockeyed devil.
I said no.
Girl, that dusty foot devil know he mad. Well, he ain't stopping nothing. Nothing.
Devil big mad, sis. Oh, my goodness.
It ain't nothing new. He always mad at me. I get up in the morning, drop kicking him in the chin. So listen. But where we were at, I want young people and grown people to love their self enough to find out. Even if you find out that you are positive, then you could take the necessary steps to not only get your results. If you get tested, you get your results, and then get treatment. Take care of yourselves. The life and medicines and the progression and things have happened over the course of the years that you can still live a happy, healthy life as a person that's HIV positive. You still can. I have friends that have been HIV positive for over 20 years. Young ladies who, when I used to go out and do speaking engagements, are happy to come and tell their story because they want other people to know what they've been through. I've had women come into my life who now are no longer here, and some may have passed away because of complications of AIDS. I had a young lady that was killed by a man that she was dating, and he didn't know that she was HIV positive, and when he found out, he killed her. So I've seen so many different things, and God has afforded me to be in so many different arenas that the people that he leads me to, I get to deal with the ones that nobody else doesn't want to deal with. Or I love to reach the unreachable and love the ones who think that they're unlovable. And all that hell that they have in them, I love loving the hell out of people.
And let me say this, that I got so much admiration for you, because I don't know, I can't remember when this was, but it has been years ago. But I remember when you guys used to be out in the community giving people tests. I remember this particular event because I think I was broadcasting. I'm not sure if I was broadcasting or maybe I came out to get tested. I'm not sure. But nobody knows this. But you open your home up to someone. And I will never forget that. I said, oh my God, I got so much admiration for Sonyetta for doing that. You remember you opened your home up to a young lady. And I did not, and I remember her. I could see her face. I don't remember her name, but she was such a bubbly person, and you would never think. Listen, just like in the beginning, we said you can look at. I used to be one of those ignorant people that would look at people and be like, "Well, they don't look sick," but she was a beautiful young lady, and you were kind. You had the kindness in your heart to take this person in, which is a beautiful thing. Look at the devil must be mad again because Sonya is freezing again. Really? Really, devil? Really? Oh, let me see something. Okay, hang on a second. I'm trying to get you the frozen you out of here. He got you in here 3 times. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I turned my Wi-Fi off and put it on my hotspot on my phone. Devil.
Okay. But I was just saying, what was the last thing you heard me say?
That it was an event that you saw me at, and you don't know if you came to get tested or if you were doing a broadcast.
Okay, I was in that particular event. I admired you so much because at that event, and one thing I love about you is that when you do stuff for people, you never broadcast what you do. And this particular person, you took them in your home, and I would have never known that. They were HIV positive, and you took them in your home. It takes, I don't even have the words to describe that. And you have no idea how much you touch my heart to know that you took someone in your home. That was such a beautiful thing. I say nobody but God. And ever since I've been knowing you, I have been seeing God's light. It's rarely, I never, to be honest with you, I never see Sonyetta. Whenever I see you, I see God. I never see Sonyetta. I see God every time I look at you. And when she shared her story, that person shared their story, I was like, wow, who people don't have hearts like that. I'm about to get emotional, but that day it really, really touched my heart that you took this person into your home. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
And that was before but that's when I first started working. Well, I had been there a couple of years, but that's not what we normally do. But this person was in a very bad situation where she was living, and she was living in another city, but she was coming to the clinic, and the man who she was living with knew that she was HIV positive, but he was forcing her to prostitute in this community, and she didn't want to do it because she knew what her condition was, and but she did what she had to do because she was on drugs, and
Mm-hmm.
because um he was uh he was basically her pimp taking care of her, and she had no other options. She had no other
Mm-hmm.
options. And so when I tried to get her into a homeless shelter, the shelters at that time were refusing to allow persons who were HIV positive to come in, the few shelters that were around. And so with this woman, it was that Friday, and it was a do or die situation. And I told her that we talked that Tuesday in support group, and I said, bring your clothes Friday. She kept saying, but Miss Cooper, where I'm going. I said, we're not worrying about that. Just bring your stuff. Whatever you could bring with you Friday without him knowing what you're doing, whatever you got to leave, just leave it. Just bring your stuff Friday. And when that Friday came, and when it got down to the last part of the day, and nobody would allow her, we were even calling shelters in other areas. And she was like, well, where am I going to go? I was like, you're going with me. That wasn't my plan, but it was God's plan. And she came and lived in my house with me, and she lived with me for over a year. And she and I are still friends to this day. And this young woman had been through a life of drugs. She had 9 children, and all 9 of her children were taken away from her and put into foster care because of her life of drugs. And so now, 20 some years later, she's lived with HIV, and she doesn't, she's not around here anymore, but she's doing great and she's thriving, and we're still in contact, and she's still telling that story. And I tell you know what, that wasn't me, that was God. Because if I was the type of person that I cared about what people think, or I cared about, I was married at that time, and the person that I was married to wouldn't even come to the office because they were homophobic about HIV. So I was dealing with a lot, but it didn't matter. It did not matter. What I was dealing with did not matter. It had nothing to do with or could not compare with what this woman was dealing with. So God will use us in so many different ways, but it's how will we put ourselves to the side to allow God to get the glory out of our lives. So I'm glad what you said. When you see me, you see God, because that's all I want people to see. What happens in my life, the doors that are open, the opportunities that God gives me, it's not about me. It's about glorifying his name and realizing that we are mere humans. We're mere humans, but we've got a purpose. And that purpose is much bigger than us. And if we keep sitting around talking about what we don't have and not praising God for what we do have, we'll never be able to get to where he's trying to take us. So I'm just a vessel that is willing to be used by whatever way God sees fit. I mean, come on, Tori. We done let people use us for so long. Why not let God use us?
Right. You right about that. Oh, Lord have mercy. You right about that.
That's a whole nother show, Oprah.
What? Whole nother show. But we're gonna touch bases on Giving Tuesday as well. And it's crazy how much happens over a course of a year, because this time last year we were at Soleil collecting for Giving Tuesday. Now I don't recall the organization that you guys was raising funds for. I think it was a Little Houses or something. But I have to say salute to you. Voodoo Child was there. Buddha Rat was there. iHeartRadio. Jamie was there. I mean, it was awesome. And that particular day I used that as a tool that particular day to show my son the importance of giving, how important it was to give back. So when I told him about it, because I don't know if the first time I came, he wasn't with me. So when I got home, I told him about Giving Tuesday. I explained it to him. So he was like, you know what? I want to give. So you remember we came back and I had my son with me and he gave. So Giving Tuesday is important as well. And I got a shout out to Mr. Travis Hunter, because he actually tagged me in a post. And Travis, I haven't done it yet, but I'm actually going to honor your request because you asked me to give to an organization called Hearts of Men Foundation. So Travis, thank you for inviting me to give to that particular organization. I'm actually going to do that. Now I'm not advocating any particular organization, but I'm encouraging you, whatever organization you feel led to give to, do it. And not just on Giving Tuesday, but whenever you're able and feel led to give. Giving is always good. And I'm a giver by nature. Sometimes I have to tell myself, Tori, okay, you can't give too much now, but I'm a giver by nature. And giving to me, I'm one of those cheer for givers. And it's like giving to me, making somebody day better. That makes me feel good. And it's not about the accolades. It's not about, well, Tori, you ask anybody that I've done anything for, you would never know that I did something unless they tell it.
Right.
I don't believe in telling people what no. But let's touch bases on that before we preach this, before you take us out preaching a sermon on what we talked about before we went on the live. Because I know you got listen, we're gonna touch back on what we were talking about before we went live, but just touch bases on Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday is the one day out of the year that has been set aside to be able to give to small businesses and nonprofits of your choice. It, of course, because of COVID, things are a lot different. Normally on Giving Tuesday, there's like a hub where most of the agencies are set up and you can go around and give to different organizations. Some choose not to be in the hub because if I'm in the room with 10 or 15 other people, then guess what? You might give that $10 that you was going to give to me. So I'm going to be in a different spot, and you just call me or email me or send it to the website, or you can sew it to a Cash App. And so last year we were helping the House of Hope with the tiny house project. And thank God that they've reached and maxed the amount of money to start that project. And we just broke ground for it. Jamie and I have been on that committee with Brian Braddock in the House of Hope to get that program off the ground. And the tiny house village is going to be homes that are built. They're tiny houses that are going to be built on Darlington Street beside the House of Hope's men's shelter for families that will be able to live in those homes and get on their feet and to start a new life after they've been homeless. And so there are lots of small nonprofit organizations and agencies, nonprofits, just different types of organizations that you can give to. For me, I've worked with homelessness, the PD Community Action Agency. I was running their shelter, which is the PD CAP Emergency Shelter. There's the House of Hope. Joyce Ford, she has a shelter for battered women. That's the Naomi Project. You've got the PD Coalition, which is another shelter. You got Regeneration Center, which is Tony Thomas. Him and his wife have a shelter for men out in Effingham. Modestine Brody has her shelter out on Douglas Street. Then we've got the Salvation Army. Heather Stevenson is with Salvation Army. So working in that collaboration with a group of people in homelessness is what I've kind of like been doing over the past couple of years. So when I left the shelter, it was to start, doing what I do. And that's with my coaching business. I coach women who've lived in the homeless shelters to get their life on track. Now, when I coach them, I don't coach them for a fee. I just coach them because I want to see them become successful. So that's just kind of helping them to navigate resources and know what's happening. Maybe one day God will grow it into something else. And then that's what happened with my boutique. So when I started, because of COVID, selling clothes that I no longer wear anymore, and started my boutique, then I started using a portion of my proceeds to help young women that I was already helping to get basic needs. Because there's no organization that's going to help you get tissue. There's no organization that's going to help you really put gas in your car, or if you need a phone bill paid, or, if you've got bugs and you need an exterminator, there's no organization that does that. So my boutique, and when you come and shop with me, Tori, or anyone else, a portion of those proceeds go towards helping the teenagers that I used to work with the Urban League. I couldn't get them a job during the summer. So that's money that was taken out of their home. So these parents still needed stuff to help their kids. And if they get a job or need some clothes, they get to come and shop for free, or I put together stuff and they can do a porch pickup. But there are so many different agencies that we're all connected to. And because of what has happened during this COVID-19 crisis, a lot of agencies are like near closing or have lost a lot of revenue because people have not been able to frequent them. I just challenge you to find an agency that you are connected to, or that you're interested in, or you're passionate about, and just give. You never know whether it's $5, $10, $500. There are agencies out there that are truly in need. And all you got to do is Google Giving Tuesday. Put a Facebook search, and you probably pull up all types of organizations right here in our area that have a need. So that's what Giving Tuesday is all about. Just taking the time to give, whether it's monetary or somebody might need some donations. Otherwise, just learn how to give, because when you give, the Bible tells us it's going to come back to us, but not just any kind of way. Tori, it's coming good measure, pressed down, shaking together, and then running over. Well, men, give back to you just because you took the time to give. So just give.
Amen. Amen. And also, if someone, because Sonyetta is always doing great things in the community, and just like she said about her boutique, tell us a little bit more about your boutique. And if anyone wants to personally donate to your boutique, tell us how to get in contact with you, and a Cash App, or so they can send donations, because you're always helping people in the community. And it's just like today, It was a spur of the moment, like Sonyetta, sis, Sonyetta, you do, and with no hesitation, sis, I got you. And that's what I'm saying. When you have people, you're connected to the right people, and they tell you they got you, and they really got you. I don't take that for granted. So I appreciate you. So to give us your information, your handles on social media, if people want to reach out to you and donate to your organization. Like I said, you guys, not just on Giving Tuesday, you can donate all the time because there's always going to be a need. People are always going to be in need. So be a giver.
Okay, well, the name of the boutique, I have a Facebook page and a Facebook live group. It's called The Jazzy Boutique, and The Jazzy is how it spells, but boutique is spelled Bouteek. And so with The Jazzy Boutique, what it is I am a part of a new community of people that God blessed me to be a part of through Facebook, and I'm on a certain platforms, and one of them is called Discount Diva Deals. And that's a Facebook group of women from all over the US that we come on this platform and are able to sell clothes. And it started with, like I said, going through my closet when we wasn't going anywhere, couldn't wear the stuff, and it was stuff that I'd had forever. So started selling stuff out of my closet, and then what started out as a hobby became like a full-fledged business. And so with that, people can give donations of gently and used clothes for women, also for girls. That's my main priority, because I'm able to give to them as well as sell on this platform to be able to have money to give back. So if you want to sow, my Cash App is $Coach Coach Cooper 911. And so that's the Cash App. Or if you have things that you want to donate, some people donate clothes. And I say used or new, gently used or new, because some people can be like, oh, I need to clean up my house, and you just kind of pull some stuff together that you don't want, and nobody else probably don't want it. So just think about what somebody could really use. And this could be clothes, it could be shoes, it could be accessories. So we have women that come from being homeless who would love to have a nice purse or love to have some accessories to go with their new outfit, stuff that we take for granted, stuff that we don't even think about, that's just kind of sitting around. And so those are different ways to give, and whatever it is that a person can do, we're appreciated. And my coaching website is the Cooper's Coaching and Consulting .org. And on that website is a way to give as well. So the website has my coaching business, and it also has the boutique on there, and there's ways to give. So that's Cooper's Coaching and Consulting .org, or the boutique is on that website as well.
Okay. And also, before we close out, because I done took enough of your time. Now, we were talking before, y'all, let me tell you, we were talking prior to going live. And when I tell you, sis blessed me with a sermon, and we were talking about the importance of in this season, in some seasons of life, you have to go through that season of being selfish. You gotta go through those seasons of, a lot of times we get, because I'm guilty of this, giving people all of me. Like if my cup is full, I'm gonna give everything out of that cup until I don't have anything left for me. So we got to learn in some cases to be selfish and do for others and be delivered. This is the main thing. This is the main kicker when you just bless my whole life. When you were talking about being delivered from people opinion, Lord have mercy. Just elaborate. Just give them a little word. Just give them a little taste now. Don't give them, listen, I got to say some of that for myself now. I'm going to just give them a little taste now. Don't give them everything you gave me now, but give them a little taste.
Listen, what I had said was, what had happened was, I started with self, because we're so quick to blame the next person what we're going through. And we can hold on to grudges and harp on who did it and who didn't do it. And most of the time we are a slave to holding on to the past or past hurts. But just imagine if we forgive ourselves first. So when you forgive yourself and say, you know what, I wasn't in my right mind, or I wasn't thinking straight, or I didn't take the time to pay attention to the signs, or I ignored them. So self, I'm sorry for allowing us to go through what we went through. When you first forgive yourself and then get delivered from yourself, because we're our own worst critic. Nobody can make you feel as bad about you as you can make yourself feel. Because we talked about how you sitting there thinking that somebody don't like you, or somebody mad at you, or somebody talking about you, and nobody even thinking about you. So when we get rid of that stinking thinking of everybody worrying or caring about you, and say to yourself, it doesn't matter what if they're talking or not. I love me enough to take care of me and my stuff, because I've got some stuff that I need to deal with. And then you start loving upon yourself enough to start making some right choices and decisions. And so when you start loving yourself, just know that the people around you that like the old you will start acting different. And then they're going to start telling you, oh, you acting different. Oh, what's going on with you? And it's you changed, Tori. No, just my priorities have changed. I've kind of decided to take care of me right now. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So when they ask you something and you really want to say yeah, but you're trying to think of a reason to say no, just say no. Practice it. Well, Tori, I need for you to come because I need this from you and I need that from you. And you know that you really don't want to go. Instead of you trying to figure out a reason to say no, just say no. And when well, why, Tori? I'm not going to be able to do that. And that's my reason. You don't have to give excuses. You let your no be no and let your yes be yes, and be okay with it. And when you're not okay, realize that it's okay to not be okay. And once you get delivered from yourself and then you decide that you tell people, I'm done with it. I'm not worried about what people think about me. I'm worried about what God thinks about me. And then you start concentrating on the one who really matters. Because when you have an audience of one, and that means God, it means that I'm only worrying about what God thinks. So when I wake up in the morning, what is God thinking about me? So let me have a conversation with him. Daddy God, I want to please you today. So can you show me some kind of way to put a smile on your face? Mm-hmm. Can you show me some kind of way to be a blessing to somebody? Can you show me some kind of way, God, that I can be better than I was yesterday, but not for me, God, and not for man, God, but for you? Can you show me each and every day how I can take steps toward being a better version of me, the me that you created and the me that you want me to be, God? I want to know what you want from me. So show me, God. And then when you start having those conversations with God, the other voices start getting dimmer. That's that selfish part. I'm not talking about being selfish and nasty and catty and petty and all that other stuff. I'm talking about truly just getting into a place with God that his voice is louder than everybody else's voice. And then when you start seeing what God says, and then you start believing what God says, and you start speaking what you want to see, because the manifestations are not going to happen until you start speaking what you want to see. Because when we were talking earlier and you was like, because I know that I'm a procrastinator. I know. Well, that's what you're going to have. When we start saying, I am no longer a procrastinator. I am no longer putting myself on the back burner. I am no longer taking less. I want more. And I shall have it. I shall have. Okay, I can see it and I can have it, but I better speak it. You got to speak it before you see it. And you start speaking it enough and it starts showing up. And then you be like, wow. And God is over here saying, I was trying to do this for you the whole time, Tori, but you're too busy worrying about the wrong things. You just be still and let me be God. Right. Stop trying to fix it, Tori. While you trying to figure it out, I'm already working it out. Let it go, Tori. What they did to you, Tori, you still talking about that? Tori, I forgot about that. I thought we already went through this, Tori. No, baby. let that go. Because as long as you worrying about it, then they are still in control of you because you worried about them and they ain't thinking about you. Move forward. You still in neutral and you pressing the gas. Move forward. Put that thing into drive and move forward. We are in the 9th quarter. We are in December. Okay, my post today was, we're in December. It's time to make decisions to get rid of distractions so that we can deliver. Now, this was before me and you even thought about getting on this phone. So this is just confirmation to what God is saying. In this month, and I'm saying to you, in this month, be intentional. This has been my conversation today. I'm not talking about nothing but what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to tell nobody that I'm prophesying. I'm just basically saying what I'm saying. Today is the first day of December, the last month in 2020. What are you going to do to finish strong? Who are you going to be looking at on the 31st when you ain't did jack all year long? And then you know the day is the 1st of December and you still doing the same things that you was doing all year and looking for different results. You know that's crazy, right? So what are we going to do? Be intentional. Be intentional about loving yourself enough to want more and then to do whatever it's going to take to get it. And then getting rid of those distractions and those people and those vampires, those bloodsuckers, the ones that's sucking the life out of you, that's sucking the joy out of you. That just every time you talk to them, you get on the phone happy, and when you get off, you're mad or sad because you done picked up their mess. Stop letting people dump on you. We still talking about the same. I thought we talked about that. No, sis. Let me know when you're ready to be delivered from that, because I can't keep talking to you about the same thing. Nope. Because whatever it is that you allow in your spirit is what you're going to carry. You are what you eat. So that's the same thing in your ears.
Right.
So be intentional about loving yourself enough to let go of the hurt, let go of the stuff. But then also, what do I need to do to finish strong the rest of this year? Write out your plan. But make sure that God is in it. Because see, we've been writing business plans and this kind of plan and all this other stuff. And God said, I didn't tell you to do that. Go ahead. That's why it hasn't worked. So God, what do you want from me? How do you want me to do this? And just journal it. Every morning, get up and talk to him. Write it down. Write it down. And let's just take it from today and take it to the end of this year, and let's see what happens. Let's have this conversation on the 31st before, it's time for the New Year's to come in. It's not like I'm going to be doing anything spectacular. If the Lord spare our life and the creek don't rise, I just pray that we're doing something intentional on the 31st of December.
Right. Got to be intentional. Lord have mercy. And we're going to end on that note, because that right there was good to me. Got me real country. That was good to me.
That was good to me. We all up in the kitchen.
Well, sister, I am so appreciative of you once again for taking time out of your busy schedule at the spur of the moment. And thank you for telling me yes. You could have told me no, but you told me yes. So thank you for my yes. Thank you for giving me yes. And just know the impact that you've had, not only on me today, but think about all the lives you done touched. People watching us live, and there's going to be people that watch the replay, because I broadcast on 3 different platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we on Periscope. So you just don't know who live you may have touched. So I appreciate you so much. I got mad love for you. Always have my back, and I got yours.
I know, girl. If I don't know about too many other people, I know my peoples.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I don't claim I got a whole lot of friends. Facebook say one thing, but I know the real.
Right.
Yeah. So you got to make sure your circle is truly a circle, and you not walk around in a triangle thinking you want a circle.
You right about that.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, sis, for, like I said, always having my back. And I want you to hang on once we end this live. I'm hang on with you. We're going to talk a couple more seconds. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being present and showing up. And if you didn't catch the entire live, you can always go back and watch the replay. Make sure you share this live, because I know so many people are going to be blessed by it. I love you, Sonyetta.
I love you too, girl. For real, for real.
For real, for real. And I love you out there that's listening, and there's nothing you can do about it. All right,
Nothing.
John. We out. Peace out.